Nice. Hey, yesterday I saw you at the Brandon office.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
They had the county appraiser out there yesterday. Did a presentation for about 45 minutes. Really great showing for Megan's agents coming out there. Take a look at it. But very, very informative. Some really cool kind of great presentation. First of all, it was actually the county appraiser. It wasn't like just some random person that came out, which funny, good dude. Handled the questions very well too. Like he did a fantastic job. And I think that was probably one of my, there was a lot of different information, that came across, but I think that's the best explanation of portability that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
How he explained that. I think that was pretty cool.
It raised something to me about the value of a real estate agent. And this is one of the things we're going to talk about today, is using Moxie to stay in touch with our customers, right? And we need content. And this is really exciting for me because I got Samantha and Jonathan and Mike working on a very engaging social media, not social media, but sphere of influence follow-up campaigns that will build for you in Moxie that you can just copy and you can modify or not. But to remind the customer, my God, it's so important to take their portability with them because it expires. I never realized that. So if you sell your house and you don't port your Save Our Homes benefit within the first year, you lose it. That's huge. And a lot of people don't do that. And so
they don't even know it's available.
They don't.
And I think when you look at, when we talk about the state of the market and the price increases that we've had, and, there's a couple times that he even said, he's like, there's some people that are going to get hit hard, they're going to get hit hard. A lot of people don't understand, necessarily what's going on. But, I think when you talk about relevance of an agent, being able to explain that, and, if somebody's worried about selling their house because taxes are going to jump up significantly, well, they're still going to jump up, but when you do that portability, it's going to allow them, to have some savings and not be, hit as hard. So I think, knowledge is power, right?
Yep.
Understanding kind of how that works. And I think when we talk about Moxie, being able to, we're going to add some stuff that goes out on specific dates that are going to remind people that you can set them up on the campaign, and on this date, it's going to remind them that they need to make sure that they are
filing for homestead exemption, because everything starts with homestead exemption if you don't file.
Yep.
He gave us the example of Derek Jeter's house. Anybody online, you want to guess, don't, if you were in the meeting, don't say. But Derek Jeter's house is on Davis Island and it's being sold, and the purchase price was, anybody want to write in what the purchase price was of Derek Jeter's house? It was over $20 million. Yeah, 20 million or so. Lauren, you were there. That doesn't count. And what are his property taxes going to be? Do you remember that?
Between 340 grand and 410 grand.
Yeah.
Like a house.
Property taxes.
This is the property taxes.
And reportedly the buyers think about knocking it down and building 3 houses.
Yeah.
That's FU money.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, and I think Lauren's right. Lauren said it's 3 years now. I think they made a change to it, and it gives them a total of 3 years to do the portability from their prior one, but it's not a full 3 years. So if they sold their house in the middle of this year, they have the rest of this year and 2 more years basically to be able to get it in.
And we also found out that fully disabled veterans that don't pay property taxes, when they buy a house mid-year, they're going to have to pay the property taxes for the year, the prorations for the year they moved in. Right. But then they'll get a rebate from the tax collector. And it was a big distinction for me. The property appraiser is the property appraiser. The tax collector is the tax collector. And the two don't interact.
No.
Right. So,
no. Okay, you got to talk to the tax collector. You got to talk.
He also offered to have one of his colleagues come out and do a training with us on how to use the Hillsborough County Property Appraiser's website.
I think that'd be great. I think that's smart. Definitely set something like that up.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, tune in. That was my message to the group yesterday when Thomas called me up with no anticipation, asked me to speak. I said, we have so much in the planning for you guys right now, and everything we're doing is recorded. So if you can't make it at 8:30, you can make it at another time. And a lot of you are. And there's more content coming, and we've been through this dog and pony show before. So when we get scared, it's time for you to get scared. In the meantime, just engage like an MFer. That was my word. MFer. Cool.
What was that acronym you said the other day?
FULAMF.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Follow up like a Mary Fiddler.
Yeah, whatever you Yep. Yep.
Okay, so we're in the middle. We're not in the middle. We're in the beginning phases. No, we're probably in the middle phases of rolling out one of the biggest technological deployments in the history of real estate. Understand that? Realogy is the biggest company, and Realogy has teamed up with Moxie Works, and they're rolling this thing out throughout the country to all the franchisees under the anything, anywhere brand.
Yep.
Right? Coldwell Banker, Century 21, ERA, Better Homes and Gardens, what other companies have, all those things are all getting this at different times. We happen to be an early adopter, so you guys have about a 6-month head start on the rest of the country. And there's two things I'm going to drill into your heads because I want to make this point. Agents who engage with Moxie, Chris said it yesterday, are going to have the opportunity to double their business. Because Moxie's priority is to make you look good, make you look better to the people you already know. Right? And that's really important to me. And this is my big hang up right now is every friggin' buddy's got a real estate license now.
Yep.
And we're only going to have 5 million home sales. So if you think you got the corner on your market, you don't. Because your neighbor just got their real estate license, they're going to go after your neighbor too. Right? So we need you to look better than your competition. And how are you going to do that on your own? Spend a shit ton of money on glamour photos and marketing materials? No. Just engage with the tools you already have provided for free by the franchise.
Yep.
And let's do it well. And then, there's just so much going on out there. I don't know what's happening. I bought these new headphones because some other ones broke because I sweat too much. And I put them in this case and it says they'll turn off automatically, but they're not. It's just sitting there draining its battery. So I don't know what that means, but we'll figure that out someday. Okay, so that's it. And my second big fear, and I said, when I get afraid, you should get afraid. These are two things you should be afraid of. If you don't sharpen your game, your newbie real neighbor gets your real estate license, they're going to get the listing next door to you because you're not staying in touch with your seer, right? So we're going to solve that problem. And the second problem is, and I showed you all at sales meeting, Zillow is shopping me like I'm their sphere. They're reminding me what my house is worth. They're reminding me about what my marketplace is doing. They're reminding me about new listings that come on the market, right? And you're not, right? Maybe we were a little bit with Business Builder, some of you, but I know most of you, when you were onboarded, put me on your list. And I used to get things, but if you don't renew those contacts, they stop. So most of you are not staying in touch with your past clients, and most of you are not staying in touch with your sphere. So we're going to give you a tool to do that. And Jimmy's here to show us. Mofo. Thanks, Louisa. Jimmy's going to show you some really cool things that are coming out. I thought it was really cool. My daughter, Jessica, does a lot of Moxie now. And because she's engaging. And she said, Moxie popped up and said, hey, it's your house anniversary for John and Mary Smith, or whatever their names were. And then it gave her an option to go say hi to them or provide a gift card or something, right? Is that something you should be doing to your client who bought a home from you 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Zillow's doing it.
Right. And I mean, and like Chris showed that video, with that little TikTok where they
That was awesome.
had the fake brokerage basically just blanket marketed community, for 2 months. And then all of a sudden the perception for that community was that was the top real estate agent that's in there. So if you're not staying top of mind, okay, if you're not staying top of mind and the Zillows and the realtor.coms and the open doors and the offer pads are throwing all that stuff out there,
Right.
They're going to start thinking of them first.
So this is the wisdom of the corporate leadership and the brokerage saying, hey, times are going to get a little slower. The competition's going to wane. This is our opportunity to grab market share, right? And to grab market share, we have to do what? Sharpen our game.
Yep.
So Jimmy, show us some of the stuff we talked about last night.
All right, so let me get to sharing. So I'm going to actually preface real quick how Craig talked about the biggest technology launch like ever for real estate. Moxie Works has been around for a while. They're not new to the game, but when you have a launch that's this big, you know, again, it's huge for Century 21, for anywhere, for all the brokerages that are doing it, but there's always going to be, you know, little tweaks and things like that here whenever you launch something, you know, brand new. So kind of keep that in mind as you're going through, because I know I hear the heartache of trying to log in and having issues, regardless if they're working on it and we know a way around it. I know it can get a little frustrating at times, but you have to get in, you have to use it. We're going to show you some things today that you really need to make sure that you're doing with your clients or your people to stay top of mind consistently with them, because, you know, one of the great things with Moxie is they do so many things kind of automatically for you, along with what we've done as a brokerage. We've kind of take the guessing out of what you need to do with a client or a potential client or a lead or past seller, past buyer, all that stuff. You know, we're trying to take a lot of that off your plate. So all you got to do is just do what you do best, which is talk to people and continuously talk to people. But there are some learning curves that you have to take the time to play around with this stuff. So what I'm going to start by sharing first is I'm just going to go real quick and I want to show you where to get training. So if you're not sure, you know, because we've completely launched everything and we've been completely on the Moxie platform for about 3 months altogether. Moxie Present's been about 8 months, but with everything, we've gone 3 months into this. So if you have not logged into any of the Moxie platform because you're too busy or you think it sucks or you don't know what's going on, take a step back, log in, start looking at some of these trainings. And I just want to show you a few things that you can do to better yourself with Moxie Engage and get into it. So the first thing I want to show you, you can see my screen, right, Craig?
Sir.
Okay. First thing I'm going to show you is something that Ange has put together. And, you know, as a leadership team, we keep continuing to throw this into our next level resource center. And I get a lot of agents that are like, what is that again? What is that again? What is that again? This is your Bible when it comes down to anything with Century 21 Beggins in real estate. Any training you need is going to be in here. And for this purpose, when you log in, and it's c21begginsteachable.com, okay? When you log in, you want to learn about Moxie Works, there's a whole section of trainings and guides, videos. I mean, there's so much stuff in here. There's so much stuff in here that if you do not know how to do something and you're not sure, this is one of the first places you can go to.
Well, let's talk about that, Jim, because that right now looks totally overwhelming. Right? So how do we really recommend you get started with this? Budget time.
Budget. And you know, that's one of my big takeaways for today. Probably the first one is setting time aside to, if it's going to be trainings, if it's going to be working through your Engage, to ensure your database is set up correctly. So again, you can do what you do best, which is talk to people and not sit in front of a computer, try to identify what everybody's doing. But schedule time. You know, Chris talked about that yesterday, and I'm honestly in this business, you have to schedule time to do things. If you're following up with clients on Monday or Friday, schedule a time. And I would do it every day, even if it's 15 minutes. 15 minutes a day. And I'm going to show you when we get into Moxie Engage what that 15 minutes can do to you in the next month, so you can be ready to rock and roll with your entire sphere. So this is one place for you to go. Okay. That's one place that you can go. You can also go to 21 Online, which this is how you actually log in, and go to C21 University. And this is the thing that I love about Realogy, or sorry, Anywhere, and they listen to us. Okay. Their training absolutely sucked when we launched this. Now you can come in here to C21 University and have, do you want to get started with Moxie Works? Do you want some deep dive into the tools? These are all instructor-led classes. So if you want to dig more into it, you can sign up and do some of those classes through Century 21. And then the last place I'll show you when we get into Moxie Engage, where you can always ask questions if you need something, and it's usually pretty quick on getting an answer. Okay. So let's go in and I'm going to do this from square one. I apologize. I would love to be able to just go right into Engage, but let me show you where you find it. We're on 21 online, right? You're going to
Well, it's hard Jim, because we have different people. We have people that have joined us in the last
Yep.
week. We have people who joined us in the last month. And we have people that joined us the last 3 months that missed a lot of the initial rollout. So this is always going to have to be ready to go. So I know some of you are at different stages of your career, and some of you ignored us in the beginning. And I was saying, oh shit, this is pretty cool. Maybe I should learn it now. So
yeah.
You didn't miss a beat, but you're going to have to be self-paced on your education because we can't roll back the clock.
Yep. And you know what, before we even get further, well, you know, I'll talk about Zap and all that stuff when we get a little bit further. So let's just show you how to log in again. You're going to go to 21 online. You're going to click on the right. We're going to go down to Productivity Hub. This is the first time that you ever log in. Do this. And this is all in alphabetical order. So all you have to do is find one of the Moxie modules, the little tiles. Okay, so you got Moxie Engage, Impress, Moxie. Well, you won't have Moxie Talent unless you're a manager or admin. Okay, so let's just say, for instance, I want to go to Moxie Engage. This does give you a brief overview of what the product does for you. Gives you some training materials too, but here all we're going to do is click Access Moxie Engage. Now, whatever one you click on, if you click on Moxie Impress, if you click on Moxie Present, any of them, you're going to come to this home page right here.
Let's go back one step though, because I get confused even. Like right there, we've got Moxie Engage. Moxie Engage is your devoted sidekick, keeping you on a task and in flow, syncing and updating info and insights about your clients, and ultimately helping you save the day every day. All right, play the video.
Can you hear that?
Yes. Okay, I wanted to do that for a reason. So CRM, what does that stand for?
Customer Relationship Manager.
So I'm just going to make these points because if real estate agents stayed in touch with their customers, we wouldn't need any new real estate agents.
Right. Because what's the thing? Isn't it like 80% of, I think it's higher than that, but like 80% of
80% of consumers say they would use their
they would
same
use the
real
same
estate
agent.
agent,
Yep.
but only 25% do.
Because they don't stay in touch.
Because they don't stay in touch, or they got in the business, they got out of the business.
Yep.
So we don't want that to happen to you, right? So that means we're going to go back and we're going to talk to. And the biggest one, I was talking to Mike Puma yesterday, because we really are working on major solutions for you guys. And the biggest problem we have is you don't have your database. And I want you to think about it this way. And Jessica brought it up the other day. This is your book of business. So let's say you have been an agent for 10 years and you've done 150 client transactions, right? And you decide you're going to retire. You can take your book of business and assign it to Jimmy. And Jimmy says, you know what? Thank you so much. I'm going to nurture your customers like they're mine. And every time I do a transaction with somebody from your network, I'm going to pay you a referral fee. So now you got retirement income coming through after you get out of the real estate business. What a shame to have worked 10 years in the business and then just walk away and let all that business dwindle. It just makes no sense, right?
Yep.
So this is the biggest, most important part of the Moxie situation. The ultimate goal, rather, is to nurture this database, right? And then we have all these other support items within the Moxie suite of services that are going to make you look better to the people you already know. Right. So this is focus number one. It's the biggest problem, Jimmy, we've talked about.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the most complicated. Take me for an example. I've got 3,700 contacts in my database. And if they're all in Gmail. So the way this opportunity works, when it syncs with me, Exactly, Dale. And you've been in the business for a while. Dale said this is my biggest goal, that I'm getting this done. It's really important.
Yep.
Right. So anyway, so when I plug into Moxie, it's going to suck every one of my contacts into my database.
Yep.
And then I'm going to be pissed because I've got probably 2,000 agents that used to work for me in my database because I never took them out. That's a negotiated thing, probably 25 or 30%. Mike asked, there's no rule, Mike. It's just how it works. You make a deal. So if I suck in 3,600 people into my Moxie Works, now I got a bunch of crap going on. And now I got a big ball of twine that I got to untangle.
Yep.
So it's going to take time for me to call that out. And, you know, you guys all, I don't know if you guys know this, but we pay $20 a month for a Google, I think it's $18, something like that, for the Google suite of services per month, per agent.
Yep.
So you have all these tools. And then inside the Google Contacts, you've got Google Contacts, you've got Google Mail, you've got Google Sheets, Google Drive, Google, all the Google stuff. One of those things is called Google Contacts. And that should be on your phone. And I always save everything by Google Contacts. So, but you can take your contacts and put them into groups, which is probably what we need to talk about at some level.
Well, I think we're past that for some people, but for some of the other ones, because once you do that the original email migration, it's already done. But you can go in, and I actually found this out yesterday, helping another brokerage that's trying to get ready to launch. You know, and again, I wish we had known this, but you can go in and make labels in Google Contacts. And you can attach those to them, which will automatically move them into those groups, will transpose and go correspond. Those labels will correspond with groups in Moxie Engage where they can be separated automatically.
I didn't know that.
Now, obviously right now that doesn't help us because we've already done that and your contacts are already there. But, you know, for the agents that are just getting started that have not done it, you know, again, like my first one is to get in and actually use this and schedule a time every day to engage with Moxie and learn and follow up with your people. The other one is going to be taking time to identify your database, what you need in there. And I'll show some things in there because garbage in equals garbage out. Take the time if it's going to be in Google, or if you go ahead and sync it up, do it in Engage. It's fine. If you do it in Engage, you're learning how to use the system better. And the more that you use it, the faster you're going to be. And people say, Jimmy, well, you just know how to do everything. You can do a presentation in 2 minutes. You can do this in 30 seconds. You know why? Because I've done 250 Moxie presentations since we've launched.
Yeah, you've practiced.
Yes.
Chris talked about that yesterday too.
Yep.
Practice is the first step of every system we have.
Yep. And then Craig, you talked about Moxie Engage being probably the most important. I agree. Moxie Engage is your lifeline, is your pipeline. If
That's
you're
the
worried about
ultimate
what's
goal.
happening, yes. Heck yeah. And Moxie does a fantastic job identifying how you're doing to your goal. And to me, identifying what your pipeline is actually worth. Like how many times have you been able to say, oh, I got $50 million worth of sales in my pipeline. That's pretty tough. I mean, I'm sure there's other CRMs that are out there, but this is the best one that you have because it's given to you by the brokerage. You know, I'll go back, use whatever you want, but why not use this fantastic system that's already in place for you, but you got to learn it. So, and I'm going to hit on this here. I know it said 84, but I'll see how this adjusts as more people start using it, but 64% more transactions. And that's from 2020. So
But how could that be?
Because they're fully utilizing this and they're staying top of mind. And I don't know how many times I've had agents that have been like, oh yeah, I got business because of it.
Now, how did, like, Moxie reminded Jessica that her customer from 2 years ago just had a house anniversary.
I'm going to show you that.
How did it know that?
Because it closed in Dash. When it closes, it ties to your account. And I'm going to show you some awesome settings that you need to get in there today and turn on. So it can automatically remind you of when these things are coming up. So it's, again, it's a reminder of a touch point, even birthdays. I mean, obviously none of this is going to work if you're not using it and actually taking the time.
Yeah, if you don't put the birthday in,
then
it's not going to know when their birthday was.
And I'm going to show you some cool things that you can start using as you're playing around with it to really help utilize Moxie Engage. So
I don't mean to interrupt you all the time, but I just
you're okay. You're good.
So excited. So when you're at the closing table with the consumer and they got to show their ID, What an opportunity to say, hey, by the way, when's your birthday? Right? This is how diligent you have to be. This is your book of business that's going to pay you residual income for the rest of your life when you stop working. So checklist item on the closing is get a copy of their driver's license, write down their birthday, and then back to Moxie database and put it into their system when their birthday is.
Yep.
And then Moxie's customer relationship management tool is going to say, hey, Jimmy, it's Craig's birthday next week. And then you're going to reach out and say happy birthday, which is going to make you top of mind to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which is going to get you more business because now I'm thinking of you because you're thinking of me.
And what if I told you there was a campaign set up for birthdays and house anniversaries that if I like the day before it reminds me like, hey, this Craig's house anniversary is tomorrow. Do you want to send him this? And on that day, I go and set you up on a campaign. And can I tell you for the next 5 years, it will automatically send out at least an email. It'll send out an email saying, hey, another year's passed automatically without doing the same thing for a birthday. I can put your birthday in and I can set you up on a birthday campaign and it will automatically go out on your birthday every year.
Yeah. And I showed you guys the sales meeting on Tuesday, Brian Buffini's little script. So you could be passive like that and let Moxie send an email to the customer saying it's your house anniversary. Or you could take more action and do a custom email notification to them or a video that says, hey, Jimmy, it's been 2 years since you bought your house. Your house is now roughly worth about $400,000. You paid $240 for it. So you made $160,000 in that investment. But what's more important is you only put $24,000 down. So on the $24,000 cash you invested, you made 160 grand. That's a 240% return on your investment. Hey, by the way, do you have any other friends who want to make some investments like that?
Yeah. You know, my mind thinks I'll be like, okay, I get something that's automatically going out every year. And then when it reminds me that's their anniversary, not only do I call them or text them and say, oh my God, it's been another year. But in my mind, I'm making a CMA and sending them a sexy ass presentation just to say, hey, congratulations, another year in the house. Hey, take a look below and see what's been going on, a little video, and then just add something that looks fantastic behind it. So,
yeah.
All right.
So this is work. This is real work. This is the work that makes your business run. And we've been really lax on it because none of us could really figure out Zap very well, but this is much better put together.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that. Thank you for calling out Zap. So before we get into Moxie Engage, so Zap and Business Builder, okay, for those of you still using it, it's sunsetting at the end of this year. So in 5 months, now it could change, but this is just what they're telling me. Basically in 5 months, well, just about 5 months, Zap, you will no longer be able to get into Zap and you'll no longer be able to get into Business Builder because it will be sunsetted and it will be gone. You won't even have access to it. Okay. Now for us, when it comes to Zap, even though it will still be there till the end of the year, in September, so if you are a Zap user in September, Zap will go to what they call read only.
Yep.
Hey, Michael, when you get a chance, when you're asking your questions, go ahead and reply to everyone, not just hosts and panelists, because these are some good questions that I'll answer for you. And I'd love everybody to see those questions, but I'll get the other 2 questions you have answered in there in a minute. And what's going to happen with Zap in September is when it goes read only, you're not going to be able to change anything in Zap. You'll still have access to it where you can see your client information, all the notes, anything that you've done in there, but it becomes read only, which means you cannot add anybody. You can't do anything. You can't set anybody up on new searches in Zap. You can't do any of that. So if you are a Zap user in September, you're kind of going to be screwed. Okay. And by the end of the year, you're going to be screwed. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So I would suggest you have 2 months to get in here and understand Engage, start playing around with it, do your migration from Zap to Moxie to get everybody in there. And then once you've done that, I mean, I can go there right now and I can actually turn a switch to turn off your Zap. So you don't have to worry about it ever again. Okay. So Mike, you asked about how you transfer from Zap to Moxie. You're not going to see it on mine because I've already done it, but up in this right-hand corner, if you could see my mouse, it's going to say migrate to Engage.
You click that button.
Click that button. But what I would do is, if you're not sure, go to Next Level Resource Center. We're going to go down to Moxie Engage, and you're going to see a training on actually how to do it. Okay. Or this week, actually tomorrow, I'm sending out another tip of the week, and it's actually Zap and Business Builder migration. So if you just wait till tomorrow, you're going to have a 2-minute video that's going to show you how to do it.
And once again, the point there is garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
If your Zap is not maintained accurately, you're going to take the garbage from Zap and put that garbage into Moxie.
Yep.
So you really need to clean up your Zap and your in your contacts before the migration happens, if you didn't do it already. If not, you can delete it and change things in Moxie too.
Yes.
Just easier to bring in the good.
Yep. I think it depends. I think it really depends on what you're comfortable with. I think if you bring everything into Moxie Engage, it makes you use the system. And I'm going to show you some things you should do every day. If you have not cleaned up your database, what you should do
Good.
To get everything updated in here. Okay. So when you log into Moxie Engage, you're going to come to your dashboard. I know we saw the video. You can move these things wherever you want. This is your sales flow. This is your pipeline. This is the amount of people that are actually either thinking about buying or selling, actually buying or selling, people you may just be marketing to. Here's your calendar. Let me show you this. I pitched this in Zap a long time ago. You need to log in every day to this. Okay. You need to log in every day to this, because when I look at my calendar here, now I'm going to go to tomorrow because, give a second to relaunch up here. Tomorrow we have an agent. I wonder if he's on. Let's just see. Is Mike on? Mr. Rickenbach. Yes, he is. Okay, Michael, hey, happy birthday tomorrow. Okay. You see this right here? So his birthday pops up because he's in my Engage. Okay. It actually will show up on my calendar, say, hey, his birthday's today. And when I click on this, it pops this little thing up that says, hey, do you want to say happy birthday? So I can basically send an email. I can call him, or I can actually send a loop and tie gift, which will attach to a website. And that's what Jessica did. Send a $25 gift card to a client that she had. And it had to, and what she decided to go for was that her clients had dogs. So the gift card she sent had to deal with getting dog toys or something like that. But if you're not doing this every day and logging in, you're not going to know that it's here.
Does it say happy belated birthday if you log in on the 7th?
No, I don't know. We could try. We could see what happens.
Nancy says, I've cleaned up Zap so I can migrate it now, ? Yes.
Yes.
And it's a combination of Zap and Gmail contacts that migrate, or just one or the other?
Okay. If you've already logged into Engage, your Google contacts that's the first migration that happens, because it's syncing with Google. Because Engage and Moxie uses your email address, your Google Calendar, your Google contacts, all of that stuff. It uses Google. So when you first log in to Moxie Engage, which I know you've already done, you already have your Google contacts in there. Once you do the migration from Zap and you click that over, then it's going to add those people also.
I'm going to make a dumb statement, but this is all done on a desktop or a laptop, not on your phone.
I would do everything at first on here, but I will tell you it is mobily optimized. So save your link so you can log in. And when you're sitting in car line to pick up a kid, the mobile aspect of Moxie Engage looks just as good, if not better, than what the Zap app does trying to update your contacts. So it's super, super easy. Now, obviously on a small phone, trying to set a search up and iron it out and stuff like that might be a little tough, or doing a Moxie presentation might be a little tough, but for the ins and outs of Moxie Engage. And honestly, I'll tell you a feature that I actually love and some people hate. Since I sync my phone with my Google contacts, that's where I get a lot of contacts. Whenever I add a new contact in my phone, so I just met somebody at the gas station, we talk about this all the time, or at the grocery store, I get their information, it syncs with Google, because that's how I have it set up. Guess where it goes from there? Automatically into Engage. So if I meet a client, I don't even necessarily have to input them twice. I put them in my phone. It's going to work its way through if I have that setting turned on my phone. And they're already here, which is pretty BA.
All my
Okay.
stuff is synced like that. I love it.
So spend some time, look at your dashboard. If you're doing this every day, you can see what's going on in your calendar. You can see here, it syncs with my calendar. So you can see that Tactical Thursdays today, that is on my calendar. I also have to schedule a pre-listing interview with a potential client. You can see activity feed. So this is why it's important to get Moxie Engage set up first, because if I'm sending presentations and I can, when I send a presentation, a CMA or maybe it's a buyer pre, whatever it is, as long as they're my Engage and I tie that in when I type in the email address, it lets me know that they got it, that they opened it and they looked at it. And this will show me, in this case, I have it set up for the past week, who's been opening the stuff that I've been sending. Like Craig's in here for opening an email on the 28th. And that was his safe search that he showed in the meeting on Tuesday.
So if I don't log in and check this stuff, I'm not going to know that. But that would
You
be
don't know that they're active.
If I was a customer, you'd say, hey, Craig just looked at my CMA presentation again.
Yeah.
I sent that a month ago. Maybe I should call him and just.
Oh,
say,
heck yeah. And I've had that happen. I've sent CMAs for people that are thinking about selling. And then every time I see that they log in, it reminded me to follow up with them, even though I have tasks to do. I know I'm top of mind because they just opened the damn email. Excuse my language. Okay.
You got a lot
And
of.
then you have some other things in here too.
Keanu Reeves was in there. Brad Pitt was in there.
Oh, some of these are my fake test accounts because when we have issues and things not working, this is how I test to make sure. This is when people open up my neighborhood news. So when I send out neighborhood news, I actually set all the managers up on a group and sent them all neighborhood news, new listing alerts, all this stuff, the stuff I'm going to tell you that you need to do.
What's Angelique doing there at 9:52 at night on June 27th?
She's looking at a presentation. You can only imagine what I mean, come on, she works till like 3 a.m. Okay. Anyways, so let's go back. And this is your dashboard. Take some time to look at it. If you're
Is that real numbers for you right now, that 27 prospects?
Pretty close. I mean, I have a few in there from like the fake accounts that are in there too, but yeah. And your prospect is someone that is interested in doing, but isn't like actively out there looking. So if I had a lot of buyers that hit that pause button, so they're not actively looking anymore. So I back them back into a prospect because active, like these are people that are actually out there either getting ready to sell or getting ready to, or actually out there, actually out there looking at houses and need to buy.
Yeah. And if that says 0, get off your ass and go talk to people.
Right.
Now,
But
Jimmy
these
can
are the
rest pretty
people that are
comfortably.
going to work
Pretty
their way
actively
up.
working right now.
Yep. And then finally on here, and then if you are a goal-oriented person and you want to hit Masters Ruby or whatever it is, you can come in here and you can check out your goal. If you can move this first, if you need to see that every single day. I've had people that are like, I don't know how I'm doing in business. Like, I think I'm doing pretty good. I want to hit Masters Diamond. I don't even think I'm close. What am I going to do, Jimmy? And just so you know, this ties in with Dash. And so it's pretty damn close to a Century 21. It's all syncs up correctly. And we get in here and they're like 79% to their goal in June.
Wow.
Actually, it was May. They're like, wow, I'm almost already there. I'm like, yes, you are. So again, keep it top of mind for those competitive people that want to take a look at it. Okay, so let me show you some of my biggest takeaways that you need to be doing right now to make sure that your Engage is set up. Now, whenever you migrate, if it's from Zap, from Google, from Business Builder, you upload a CRM from somewhere else, all it is just data. It's just sitting there. So the first time you bring everybody in, you're not going to have anybody in your sales flow, which is your pipeline. Okay.
Uh-oh, you froze.
Okay, you there? Sorry, no, I was reading that chat. Mike, you said you got somebody who's in Zap and just isn't responding to anything. Call them.
I have a prospect on Zap that has looked at 230 plus homes and opens all of my emails, but never replies. Even sent him Moxie present on 2 separate homes he viewed, but again, no reply. And he thought,
that's fantastic that you've done that. If you've tried to give him a call and text, he's not responding. I mean, he's active.
Follow up like an MF.
Yeah. Let him keep going. And then if he decides, and then when he's ready, hopefully, if he's looking at that many homes and you're sending that much stuff, he'll flip that trigger, pull the trigger. And
paradigm shift. Be glad he's looking at 200
yeah.
without you. When he narrows down to what he really wants,
Mm-hmm.
you're there. because last thing I want to do is show 230 homes.
So this is what I want you to do when you before you start changing settings and doing everything. I want you to go to your people section. So let's just pretend that, Craig, we just did a migration. We just logged in the first time, or we have everything and then we just never played around with this. This is your dashboard for your people. For those of you who don't know where your new leads come from, when you get a new lead that comes through Century 21 or anything like that, they're all going to be down here under new. Okay, so these are where your new, anybody new that goes into your system is going to be here.
I just want to remind everybody, Dash is what our back office staff loads all of our listings, sales, closings, and all that stuff goes into Dash, which is how Century 21 knows how much money we owe them. Right.
Yeah, right.
It's got everything in it.
That's fantastic. That's the best thing I've ever heard. Like,
it's what it is. That's what the whole system's trying to do. So Dash syncs with Moxie. Lead Router, which is becoming Moxie Lead Engine, syncs with this. So everything you do in our company, and Google, that's why we buy Google accounts for all of you, syncs to this. So everything in your calendar and your inbox and your contacts and your mail, all that stuff is all tied together in here. So you've got really one robust system.
oh, it's fantastic.
So it's worth figuring it out.
And I didn't even mention that once you log in once, you can click on, you can get to everything.
Right.
So you don't have to log in 16 times. So, and then take a look at this. Remember we say log in every day. Look, it's telling me here, Michael's birthday is later this month. Send them a gift now. Look, Craig's birthday is later this month too. This is giving me reminders. I have this new seller lead that's interested in and selling their home, and I haven't set her up on neighborhood news yet. Hey, let's get her set up. It's just giving you some things to do. Now, if you have not put anybody and identified those people and done anything with your data or sphere or everything that's coming in, you're not going to have really a lot of these recommendations. So
what would you do with Rachel DeMaria?
I would actually set her up on a neighborhood.
That confuses me. The word says subscribe. Subscribe to what?
So subscribing is, I'll show you when I get to a contact, but subscribing is when you subscribe a client to neighborhood news, which is a monthly newsletter that lets them know what's going on in a specific area or zip code or community, however you decide to set it up. I can subscribe them to campaigns. I can subscribe them to new listing or just listed and just sold for myself. So
just like Zillow does to me.
Yep. And then what this will do is the reason it's called subscribe is they can unsubscribe. And then one of the cool things with neighborhood news is, I'll show you this too, is you can actually go into your campaign. You can actually see an open rate. You can see how many people are clicking on it, how many people are unsubscribing, how many people are looking at it. If you have everybody in your people set up.
So neighborhood news is like Zillow hits me with a market update for 33572. And neighborhood news is like a newsletter that tells me what's going on in the neighborhood that Zillow sets me up with too. And then you can actually perform a CMA for your active clients whenever you want to. Like Zillow tells me what my house is worth.
Yep.
And if Zillow's talking to me more than you're talking to me, who am I thinking more about?
Zillow.
Mm-hmm.
So just so everybody knows on this, on the Zoom, everybody set Craig up on neighborhood news or some searches and stuff, so he stops bringing up that Zillow keeps sending him stuff, because that's who sends him the most stuff, and that's what's in his mind. So let's change that perception for him.
Well, even at Sales Me on Tuesday, I showed him what you send me too. So
yeah, I know, I'm playing.
Read Chung Lee. Chung Lee is a buyer. This person is in the dark. Shed some light on them. Too late. But
yeah, sorry. Yeah, so those are just some things you can go into and look at. Again, if you haven't done any of this stuff yet, then this is where I would take this. I mean, doing that, those other things aren't going to do much until you take the time with your sphere right now. Now, Angela said, do you need to create a newsletter or content? No, the content that gets sent out on neighborhood news is all around numbers. And I'll show you kind of a preview of what that looks like. And it's automated. So think of it like this. If you didn't do anything today, if the only thing you learned from today is setting everybody up on neighborhood news, I have 390 people that if I set them all up on neighborhood news would get an email from me every month automatically letting them know what's the state of the market is in their area. So do we have to every person that is not pulled from Zap or Gmail?
yes.
Yes, you need to add them, which you can see when I go to people, you can add a person there. You can add it here. You can do a bulk upload. Let me answer, which will help me answer Mike's question earlier. He asked about a CSV file. You only need to download the CSV file to upload in from Moxie if you're doing a huge upload. So if you're using another CRM and you're trying to figure out how to get 150 people into your Engage, doing the CSV file and upload will do that too.
Or let's say you're not using Google Contacts on your phone, you're using something else. You can export your contact list from your phone into a CSV file, then upload it into Moxie.
Yep. And there's a training on the Next Level resource on how to do that. So if you, or schedule some time with me and we'll walk through it. Donna, you said you have a client that shows closed transaction, but the status ends with pending within goals of transaction. You actually have to go into that person and close the transaction if it didn't sync up correctly with Dash. So pull up the person. You know what? Let me show you how to do that real quick. Let me say I have an active. One of these actives is not going to be. Well, I don't want to do that. I will. Let's use Bruce Wayne because that's not real. Okay, so I'm moving them to pending. Well, I can't do too much. So let me just finish that. So this is going to show that there's a pending transaction. I've updated everything from commission to when they're closing. So right now it's in pending. I just have to click close transaction. It's going to ask me to put the address and everything in there. I don't want to fake that because I don't want it to make my numbers look funky. Because if I do this, it's going to show me closer to my goal that it really is. So once I fill that out, I put the closing date when they've closed, all that kind of stuff. It will update my goals and it will show under my goals here on the right-hand side.
And it's important to do that because then it's going to tell you, it's going to tell the system that their house anniversary date was the date you said they closed.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So you can't, this is a working document, a working program, really. When you have a closing, your checklist goes in and says, do this.
All right, let's go back to this. Come on. Sometimes this can be a little sluggish. So I'm going to go back to my people and man, we've been flying through this.
I know.
One of the things I want you to do when you first get into Moxie Engage and you have not done anything and you just have all this data is I want you to go to people and then go down to my people, which I'm waiting to have load up right now. I'm going to see if I do this in incognito, if it works a little bit faster. Okay, there we go. Okay. So there's two things I want you to do. One, groups are super, super important. Donna, why don't you call me and we'll figure this out later when it says it's only showing delete or deactive. You have to get it into the pending section. If you try to close it out and switch them over, let's talk about that on a side. There's two things that I want you to spend the time on. One is groups. Groups are super, super important. Okay, groups are where you're going to take your people and you can identify where they should be. So if you have a farm, I have real estate agents in here. I know Craig's like, I got all these real estate agents. I don't want them in here. Well, you know what I do? I want everybody in my sphere, everybody on my phone, I want in my CRM. I'm going to identify who's actually a client, who's not. But I want them in here because I can do some things that I can still stay top of mind. And honestly, on the real estate side, I can set everybody up. I can set everybody up in my CRM to get automatic just listed and just sold emails. Free marketing to a real estate agent automatically when I have a listing that hits the market. If I have 500 agents in here, 500 agents are getting an email from me saying, hey, I just listed this property. It's not about staying like telling everybody on business. That's free marketing that's automatically done. And I want my family to know that I'm listing stuff. I want my networking. I want my inspectors. I want my lenders to know, what's happening. Okay.
And they can always unsubscribe if they don't want to.
And they can unsubscribe if they don't want it. But take the time to set up groups. So you can see I have closed, cold, farm, hot, incubating. Some of these will automatically came from, Moxie. From Zap.
I was thinking something yesterday, Jimmy. There's a guy named Ryan Van Gundy, and Ryan is a young kid who worked for us in the Southampton office probably 15 years ago. And he was probably in his early 20s. And he decided he's going to move to Colorado and become a snow skier. Well, he moved to Colorado, became a Remax agent. And now he has something called the Van Gundy team. and he shoots a video a couple times a month, and I'm in his database. And I got one from him yesterday, and I called Boom and I told him what it was, and we talked about things we're trying to build for you guys.
Yep.
And Ryan Van Gundy worked for me 15 years ago. And I still am talking about him today because of what he does with his CRM, sending me a video talking about, he was sending a video talking about how the county is voting to restrict short-term listings in Breckenridge.
Yep.
Right? Just relevant information for not me. It just makes me think of him.
Yep.
But he's thinking of me too. So if he has a referral for Tampa, it's coming our way. And if I get a referral for Breckenridge, it's going his way. And it's him, it's automatic. And this is all automatic once you set it up.
Once you set it up. So, and that's why groups are kind of important, because I don't necessarily want to send that same video to every single person that's in there. Maybe there's a specific group that I want to send it to. Maybe I have buyers, a specific message I want to send to buyers. I mean, shoot, I can go in here once I get this situated and ready to go. I could go in and just separate all my buyers, and then I can add every single one of them at one time to a campaign. And I could put them on a buyer campaign or a holiday campaign. Or if I have a group of for sale by owners, I can set them up on a for sale by owner campaign. So I don't have to individually go into each one to set them up on a campaign, which is why groups are important. Now, I also said this.
Are those campaigns pre-built, or do I have to build them?
They're pre-built. You do have to go grab them from the campaigns and pull them from the file cabinet from the Sky. And then we are also in the process, and there are already some in there that we are making more relevant campaigns too for us and what's happening in the market. So you're going to see all those on there. So you just have to pull them from the file cabinet from the Sky so you can access them. But the other thing you can do too, so let's say, you know, this kind of ties into Moxie Present. Let's say I want to make a presentation for an entire community, let's say a farm. Well, instead of going and trying to send a presentation to 25 or 150 people individually, if I have the group set up, all I have to do is type in the group who I'm sending it to, and it will send a presentation to all of them at one time.
And then it'll tell you if they opened it.
And it will tell me if they open it, so as long as they're in here. So now, before you can do all that too, though, this is where you need to spend the time. This is step 2. If you have not played around with anything, or number 2 takeaway, come in here, people, my people, and go over here to your category wizard. Now, this does take time. So Craig, you got 3,700 people. And we want it done, let's say, that's a lot of people. So let's say 45 days. That's a lot of people. We got to touch base every day. That's still a lot.
Yeah.
Take the time, because what this is going to do is it's going to pull up 6 people in your database that are not in your pipeline yet. They're nothing. They're just people. You got to designate them as a client, which is a prospect like a buyer or seller, or a past buyer, a past seller, so you can keep them on the marketing standpoint, or you can take them completely out. So if you're doing this, what my recommendation is every day, take 20 minutes, get as many as these done as you can. And it's this simple. And this is a mixture of both. This actually, none of these are going to be clients. So this is just going to clean out that system. So this is actually a broker from Michigan somewhere. He's not a client, right? So I do not want to market to him. I don't want to put him on task. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. And in this case, I can kick them out and they're gone. So if this is where you can get that garbage out, I can make them a personal contact. But
You're not going to flow back to my Google contacts and delete them from there too?
No. So they're going to stay there. And Engage, when I remove them from Engage, they just stay, they're gone from Engage. They're still in your Google contacts.
Okay.
So if you're tying your phone to it, you're not going to lose any of those contacts. Now, if you take it out of Google, it will come out of here too, because Google's like the source of truth. But in this case, he's going to be a collaborator because he's a broker up in Michigan. I'm going to, let me make this guy a client, James McNally. This is when I tested Google and labels and stuff to kind of bring it in. And I noticed that it worked. And I'm like, holy crap, I wish I had known that. So I'm going to make Jimmy a client, and he's a seller prospect. Done. Rachel is an agent. These are all agents. So these are all people I've added names and phone numbers and stuff into my phone. All right. That took me no time.
No.
And I've got 6 done. I still have 23 more to go, or 21 to go here. Most of these are collaborators. Okay. Here is oops, I need to go back. It's a seller. All right. So I've done 12 in about 30 seconds. Take 20 minutes a day. Nancy, you said, can you put them into 2 groups? Yes, you can put them in 2 groups. You can put them in every single group if you really wanted to.
Should you add yourself to your own groups?
I would add, listen, make a fake account. Here's takeaway 3. Make not a fake account, but make a personal account that's tied to your personal email. So you can see what this looks like.
Yep.
And honestly, and that's why you see all my funny ones, because by making the Brad Pitts and Keanu Reeves, it's kind of funny and it's great for training because people get a laugh out of it. But those are legit email addresses. So I can play around and see what these campaigns look like, set people up, put them on searches, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, if I screw up, I'm not worrying about screwing up a potential client just to see how it works. So as you can see here, look, I have 31. I went from 27 to 31 prospects by just doing those 2 in 30 seconds.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Jimmy, Mike says, so you have a farm, say I have a farm, I send letters to them all. I have their mailing addresses.
Yep.
If I have emails for them, will Moxie send a monthly newsletter when I plug them in Engage? The answer is yes.
Yes. So what I would do is I would set every single one of them up. So let me show you. So let's say you have a farm, they're all in here. This is, and Mike, this is where you would use that upload, is get those people get them into that CSV and upload them. So I'm going to come down to my farm here and I'm going to filter my farm. All right. So this is everybody on my street. Okay. Oh no, it's only a handful. Sorry. No, I got to take off prospects. Excuse me. All right. So this is everybody down the street for me. Okay. So what I can do is and I've already done this for the majority of them. So I'm going to select all of them. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set everybody up for neighborhood news. So that means everybody's going to get an email on my street from me every month that's saying, hey, this is what's going on. I could do it 2 ways. I could do quick or I could do custom. I'm going to do custom because this is a farm. Okay. I don't need them to see what's going on in all of Ruskin. Sorry, this. All right, so this is the street here. But let's just say I want this whole community. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw. Nope. I'm moving too fast for the computer today. All right, I'm just going to throw it together. Okay, so now I'm going to send this. Now, some of them I don't have email, so I cannot send. Okay, so I'm not getting it to all of them. I don't want to actually send them because I already have them set up. But you could do that. You could do it just by zip code.
Can you preview it?
Yeah, I could have on the last one. So I'll show you what a preview looks like when I click on one of them. So what I would do with this is what I would do though with my farm is I would put them all on neighborhood news. I'd set them all up on listing announcements. Listing announcements basically are going to be anything I just list or just sold. So if I'm an active agent, I'm doing probably a deal a month. Let's say I get 1 listing a month. That's basically I just sold and just listed. So that's 24 touch points plus another 12 from my neighborhood news that goes out. So I'm already at 36 automated things that are going to happen for them. I can also set them up if I want to put them on a campaign. I can do something like that too. So again, number 2, though, like I said, I want you to go in a category wizard and take 20 minutes a day and get everybody set up that is a client and that's not a client. Now, let me show you those subscriptions one more time. So you can see here where it says add subscription. This is the clients. You can see their prospect. You're going to see tasks. I'm not going to talk about tasks because we're almost done. This is where I can come in and add subscriptions individually. Let me show you what a sample of neighborhood news looks like. Is this right on the right?
Yep, sure.
Already done for you. So again, this is where I can do neighborhood news, listing announcements. I can also add them to a group down here, but I do want to show one thing. There's one thing I really wanted to do, and I know we're getting close to the end of the time.
Well, I want you to close with, take this back to the resource center so they can watch, because this is a lot of information right here.
Okay, so there's going to be 3 things that I want you to do, though. One is obviously get in here, start playing around with it, and schedule time every day to learn Moxie. 2, once you've done your migrations, 20 minutes a day, go on a category wizard for the next month, and you're going to be set. You're probably going to be set and ready to go. Okay. Number 3, set people up on neighborhood news. And then I want to go to these settings real quick. I'm not going through all of them. The other thing I would do though, once this loads up, man, I'm going to go down here to subscriptions. Okay. Well, there's some notifications and special dates. Let me start with the special dates. Come into the special dates here, go to birthday, and turn on one day before, like you could set the time frame, but I want a calendar reminder one day before somebody's birthday. And turn on auto add. So if their birthday is in the system, it will automatically put that on your calendar for you. And then the other thing I would do is come down here to the house anniversary, do the same thing, turn on. I want the day before, a calendar reminder, and I turn it to auto add. So that way, when you close it, if you don't do anything, it's automatically going to pop up there. And then the last thing I would recommend to do, so those 2 settings, and then the last one is neighborhood news. Come down here. You can actually set up and create a widget. I mean, and you know what? Don't do that yet. Take 15 seconds back of your life. Let's not do that right there. I don't want to confuse anybody on that.
Yeah.
And let me answer Nancy. Nancy, yes. So this is the deal. Just because you have everybody in Moxie does not mean that everything is turned off in Zap or Business Builder. So what you'll want to do is once you have got them into Moxie, they're in your pipeline, you've identified if they're client or not, and you start setting them up on searches and campaigns, that's when I would turn them off in Zap. So once you're ready to do that, turn them off and turn them on, basically.
Kelly says, do you have to turn them on auto add on per client, or once it's on, you don't have to do it again?
Once you turn that on, every client that you put in there will have that. There's
Nice.
even an option to automatically send an email for new leads. There's an email for, you can actually, there's what was it? There's actually some things in there for new leads that you can automatically sign them up, turn that on too for neighborhood news. So as a new lead comes in that has a valid email address, it will send an email to basically inviting them to sign up for neighborhood news. So again, things that you can have them set up without doing anything once these things are turned on. So let's go back. Where can we find all this information?
After once you close right there.
Remember, go to c21baggins.teachable.com. That is our next level resource center. When you log in, you're going to scroll down and you're going to look for Moxie Works. Click on that. And then, I mean, again, depending on what part you're working on.
So that'll show you there's a video button next to Moxie Engage. So it's a video or it's a text instructional.
Yep. So
what would you recommend they go to for Engage?
Let me go back. So well, first off, if you've never used it, go through these first ones. Right. If you've never used it, go through this. And especially for everybody there, Moxie support is amazing. I would actually start here for Moxie Engage. Start with the quick start guide first. It depends on how you like to learn. Some people like videos, some people don't. This is an 80-minute long video that we did. It can be a lot. Take it in parts. But that's where I would start. I'd start there. We've already talked about preferences. I mean, all these things kind of fall into play when you first log in. Creating and organizing your contacts, that's something great that I would look at there. If you want more on the category wizard, this is a 3-minute video. Boom. Here's a 6-minute video on how to set up your groups. Here's neighborhood news, how to set that up. I mean, just kind of go through this. I mean, I would start here with quick start guide and watch this video.
That's the investment you got to make, guys.
Yep.
It's a short-term pain for long-term gain.
Yep. So I know that was a lot, but thank you.
No, Jimmy, you're a valuable resource, man. And I don't know if you guys know, but Jimmy's actually doing workplace trainings for Moxie now, nationwide. I think you're speaking at Florida 21 coming up the next month. Quite a bit of stuff going on. You got a good resource here, guys, and all that stuff's recorded for you. So
And as always, man, if you guys need something, shoot an email to me. Look at the bottom of my email. There's a little Calendly link. You can see what's available. Set an appointment. We can do it Zoom. Yeah, but take the time, look at that, look at the most of the tech tips that are coming out each week. Again, we're trying to deliver this message in so many different ways. If it's live training, Zoom trainings, 2-minute trainings, just, however you want to engage that way. If it's reading, if it's watching a long video, watching a short video, but engage somewhere and take the time to learn it. You have to. Plus, if you're using these other ones, you don't have much more time. And we are so lucky. If we were doing it right now, we'd have like 60 days. And then Zap's gone and Business Builder's gone.
wow.
So we are so lucky that we got the chance to actually pilot this and kind of early access to do this.
Sir.
So that's
All
all
right.
I got.
Happy Thursday, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Blowing up on the movie.
Yeah, all right. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.